Hi guys, it's Ona, your energy customer service rep from Chicago. Today is Saturday, November 26th, 25th, 2023. I'm looking at my page, it's a 7 year. Saturday, November 25th, 2023. Dr. Vicky and I again join forces to talk about this full moon coming up. It is a full moon in Gemini. It is occurring on November 27th at 3:16 in the morning. So that would be like Sunday night through Monday morning. And what do you say, Dr. Vicky? It's going to sort of, you feel the effects of, or the impact of how it's treating us between maybe like Saturday and Tuesday?
Yeah, I think with full moons, there's like an energy of it coming, then there's like then there's like an illumination, and then there's somewhat of a dissemination. I think you could give it, I would give like the full moon period a 3-day period.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Anyway, like
72
just
hours.
as it like, the anticipation, the actualization, and then what do you do with that actualization,
Yeah.
right? What do
Yeah.
you do with the illumination that you just had?
So that'll be occurring between Sunday night and Monday morning, 3:16 Central Standard Time. So I'm not sure exactly how this altar is going to work. I'm limited to what I can light, and fire inside here. So we'll see, but it'll be interesting. It's an air sign, Gemini, right?
Yes.
So it's the duality. We first realize there's something that's opposite what we know to be true. So what do you think? And first of all, I didn't formally introduce you. Dr. Vicky is my partner in Moonshine and Moon Shadows on her channel. Every month, every 2 weeks, we get together and talk about this peaked phase of the moon when we can put our intentions out there, when we sort of can navigate how the energies are affecting us, staffing, whatever, however we could use the energies, we're going to sort of help you along with that. So thank you again, Vicky, for joining me on this journey through the Moonshine catalog. And this is an interesting, of course, we always say powerful full moon. It's opposite the sun in Sag.
Yeah.
And the sun is sandwiched in between Mercury and Mars right now.
Yes. Yes. And we have Saturn squaring this full moon axis.
Yeah.
And Saturn just on the 4th, turned around and went direct. So Saturn's still moving relatively slowly, but powerfully over those first, I mean, it hasn't been in this position since March,
Yeah.
right? In this degree. So things from March are starting to march forward, and we're gonna start to see how that beginning, I think, of the year, we come to a realization, because um it's gone over this is like the third time it goes over the first 8 degrees of Pisces. And if you happen to have your Saturn there, like Ona does, or another planet, you're feeling it. And it's
Yeah.
been a big, it's when you think about the beginning of this year for you, when Saturn went into Pisces, and then what has transpired since. You've completely changed your life around.
Yeah.
So that's what that kind of Saturn thing can do for you,
Yeah.
and it's pretty profound. So, and
Yeah.
and of course, people born in your year of your birth are experiencing similar things. If you're in the mid 60s, if you were born in the mid 60s, you're feeling this, especially what, 65 and
Yeah, I'm 65. Between what years do you think we've sort of generating the Saturn return?
65. Well, for our age group, 65, 66, and for people who were born about 30 years ago. So what would that be? Um, to the 1990s, right? Those
Yeah.
kids are having their Saturn return.
Okay.
Pluto and Scorpios, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And that's their first. So they get, this is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Kind of for
yeah,
them. For us, it's like, what do you want to leave for, you know, for your legacy? What's your legacy?
right. What is your work? That is so interesting. So you reflect on the last 30 years and where is it that I thought I would be at this point?
Oh yeah, you're never where you think you're gonna be.
Right?
You
Right?
know, yeah, yeah. And it's yeah, it's kind of it's a long and winding
Yeah.
road, and we a lot of times think that we're in charge of it, but we're not. We're just the road is already set. We're the ones, you know, experiencing it as we go, and sometimes the road gets washed out, and sometimes
Yeah.
and you have to go with where the only way you can get, you know, through or down or around or
Yeah.
up or above. And yeah, it's an interesting life that we're living in. We're living in very interesting times,
Yeah.
are we not?
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it's very difficult for me, I haven't really paid attention to the news too closely because I don't want to make myself sick, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
There's a
it's too much, like it's just too much suffering. And if you're
lot.
at all sensitive, and you have to be okay with that. It's okay. You don't have to hold every suffering person's hand. Um, but you do have to be aware, I think, of that things need to be different and that you
Mhm.
need to do things to make the difference. And that's really, you know, it's one thing about feeling, and then sometimes that feeling can make you feel disempowered or like you have no power. But the truth is you have all the power. You have all the power because you
Mhm.
have the divine within you, you know, and that's one of the things I think Saturn and Pisces hopefully can help us remember.
Yeah.
We're just conduits of, you know,
I
a
think that's what
higher
this is.
spirit.
This is what the moon's maybe allowing us to sort of see as Saturn is square in the middle of the moon and the sun. What
Yep,
is it that we're allowing ourselves to breathe in with the full moon in Gemini? Gemini, remember, rules
yep. The hands.
the lungs, the hands, the arms.
Yep.
I'm a Gemini rising, and I always like my arms free. I like to be hands free. All my purses are crossbody. My arms have to be free. It's not just that I'm Sicilian. Okay, if you know me, it's that Gemini thing. You have to stay away from us because our arms are all over the place. Giblets jumped off the chair and now he's crying at me like he didn't eat 4 hours ago. But you can come up back up on the chair or not talk. All right, let me get the dog and we'll talk about, you know what, pull up the chart because we can talk about some of the themes when we're looking at the chart and it's a little bit easier to understand why we're throwing Saturn under the bus right now.
I don't think you can throw Saturn under the bus, but I think
If
maybe
we're,
you'd like to at times,
maybe
but
Saturn needs to fix the bus, right?
oh shoot. All right, here we go.
All
You can
right.
see that, right? You can see that, right, Ona?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we've got these four blue,
Globules.
yes, these four blue molecules are the important planets that are playing a big role in this full moon. On the left is the sun, which is right next to Mars, opposite the moon, who's in Gemini. So that's the highlighted archetype of this moon.
Yep,
And then
yep.
Saturn is just below in the middle, kind of like he wants
It's,
to be on the outside of the sandwich, not the inside of the sandwich. And then Lilith is across the street, sort of
yep.
shining a spotlight into Saturn's window.
Well, you know, they're all mutable signs, right? They're all at the
Yep.
beginning of the immutable degrees. The mutable signs are considered the mind. It's connected to the mind, and it's also connected to humanity. And so we're getting full view of the possibilities of what humanity is capable of, really in this
Good
full moon.
point. Yep. that's a good point, because when I did a little meditation on the moon, who was a little sassy last night and under some clouds, and wasn't really telling me a whole lot of secrets, the idea, the essence, the visual, you know, the billboard that flew across my head was lemongrass. So, and I thought, okay, so I need to drink some, or I'm trying, let's compliment
Find some, or
find it, bring it home, see what is it that is necessary at this time. So of course I look up, do my little research. If this full moon has something to do with lemongrass, what is it about that? It is, it helps with stressful thoughts, Gemini. It is the ruled by the planet Mercury, Gemini, right?
yeah.
It encourages the release of stressful thoughts. It encourages diaphoresis. In other words, it helps you sweat. Okay, another way of releasing toxins.
Right. Yes.
So if you have any, get some. If you don't, find some. If you're growing some, harvest it now. You can grow a bigger one next year. It also is, which was really interesting, lemongrass oil is used as a natural insecticide, but it attracts bees.
Mm.
So they actually use it to strengthen weak beehives to attract more bees. So I think the full moon has something to do with that too.
I feel I think this full moon would also be a good moon to put a call out to your fellow hive members
Yeah,
to come back to the hive, because the hive needs some
yeah.
energy, love and care, something like that, like bringing it together. We have to,
Mhm.
it's almost like we all have to mend our own hives right now.
Yeah. And I'm also picking up on some new and different energies and things that are coming in, because Mercury's kind of flirting with my own Mercury. And it is a lot of, I have to try and separate what is, it's so personal. I literally live in a beehive.
Mm.
Beehive,
Hmm.
and I have to learn how to strengthen the hive in my own way, and not just be somebody who doesn't want to know their neighbors, or thought this was a retirement home for the dog. So I think this would be a good thing to put on an altar, would be some lemongrass, or just even the idea of strengthening the hive. And even if the hive is just your little hive of family or coworkers, or culture or heritage or hair color.
Uh, hive bees are in like animal magic or animal speak, or symbology is for the strengthening of the community.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe honey on
yeah. Like,
altar.
and I think a lot of this comes in, a lot of this symbolism comes in because of the time of year that we actually need these things
Yeah.
in the winter. The honey that we harvested over the summer and the spring, you can't harvest any over the winter. You use what
Right.
right? So that kind of thing,
And
definitely.
it's got antibacterial qualities,
Mhm. And
all kinds
appreciate
of
those things,
yeah.
because it's a good time to appreciate anything that's fresh around here. I
That's
know, Giblets, you want to come here and talk about that? He's going to talk back to me now.
well, it's a Gemini full moon. Did you expect him to be quiet?
I don't know why is he acting like this? I'm going to
It's
pull a card on you. Come here. Benica. Benica.
It's full moon energy.
So they expect some of that little sassing back at you. I also wrote down during this little bit of a meditation that maybe you are going to be seeing a situation in a new way. So an old situation in a new way. Let me just come here. Come here, buddy. I'm not throwing the ball. Hold on. Super sorry. We're just gonna have him sit on my lap the rest of the time because he's like this, you know. He never got over daylight savings time.
I
And
can't
it's okay with
disagree with
everybody.
you.
He'll pick the animal oracle card.
Oh, that's good. Well, he's
Just have him do
always
that.
helpful, always helpful. So I just, if I could, I just want to read these Sabian symbols. The moon at 5 of Gemini, it says a revolutionary magazine asking for action, the explosive tendency of repressed feelings and root emotions. And the symbology here, or the key word, is to reach beyond established forms. What is rigidly bound in form and convention tends to explode into formlessness. It may do so violently if socially oppressed through revolution or at the psychological level in psychosis, or it may withdraw inwardly into a mystical state. And that's in opposition to an old owl sits alone on the branch of a large tree, a poised and wise approach to existence based on clear perception of unconscious factors and their operation, possibility of developing a wisdom. Beyond tragedy, a peace and poise, beyond conflict, one might speak here of translucidity. So it's kind of an interesting balance, right? It's a full moon, it's a balance. We're dealing, as Gemini does show us the dark lines, right? Gemini's about duality, and it's love and hate on the same different sides of the same coin. That coin is the line. So we're going to see things that are not all that perhaps easy to see, but maybe necessary. We have to find the lines, and we have to decide what's worth putting your energy into and what isn't, right?
I think if you trust your instincts and not everything you see,
right,
you're running on a more solid track.
Right, because you're not seeing somebody else's opinion or what they want you to see. You're using your body.
That could influence you maybe. So what you
Well,
think
yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
Media matters, as they say.
It's really, it's hard to backpedal on for some people who have used it and learned to use it as a crutch during COVID or whatever, have now, rely on it. I always look for the little eye on the bottom of the thing, that if it's real, if a picture is real, then it's going to have an icon that says it hasn't been altered. Otherwise, most things are that you see on these sites that people, call out as sources. They're not sources.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and you always see what you agree with anyway because of the algorithm. So that's not helpful. That's not helpful either. I mean, it's helpful if you're exploring that, if it's a research thing where you want to get the information.
right.
And I think, this is that kind of full moon. We want to get the information, and then Sagittarius takes the information that comes in through Gemini and creates a philosophy of life, a way of living. And I think we need to see, it's like a stress, it's almost like everything's a stress test. And I kind of feel like Saturn through Pisces, a little bit of a stress test of what you believe, right? What's true for you, and realizing that maybe what you believe isn't really what's happening, or maybe it is what's happening, or maybe you're afraid to believe. I mean, it's just the other day I had this sense that I was like, No, I'm not actually, I was just like, it was something that I had thought about, and I'm like, that's not true. And then things are showing me that that may actually be very true.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then you're like, oh dear, what do you like? How do you
Yeah,
navigate this, right? So, and I think we have to start trusting our bodies more because our bodies are trying to tell
yeah,
us something.
they
And I
are.
think that's what moon shadows and moonshine help. That's one of the things we like to do
Yeah,
with this because we want people to feel the and with all your senses, not just oh, here's the chart, what does it look like, but like what are you experiencing in your life, what have you my gut has been very not inflamed, but everything's moving very fast, we'll put it that way without
mhm,
being too
mhm.
graphic, even though it's not really
That
graphic.
is inflammation also. That is something that lemongrass, and why I smelled it maybe is helps as an oral, like a tonic kind of thing, because also sweating it off, that congestion needs to go somewhere. So it sweats out of you. I think that's one of the things too, is we indulge in stuff that we're expected to indulge into, and then we need to find a
Oh,
way
there's
to bring.
that, yes, of course.
We had food at work the other night, food I would never eat or buy here. Like, it was really good. And I totally understand that the inflammatory response there. So, yeah, yeah. And, it's flu season, and Gemini moon is, runs the lungs kind of thing. So always be on the, you know,
Yeah,
just
nice. Maybe
put your immune
lemongrass,
system.
ginger,
Yeah, put your
black
immune system
pepper.
on a boosting plan, right?
Yes,
In the winter, you do
absolutely.
that anyway.
Absolutely. Plus, this is, I mean, this is the time of year when people will get things like COVID again, because
They
anytime
do.
there's a temperature change, it does stretch out your body. And if you're not compensating for that, then you're going to get sick. So you have to, you know, you have pre-armed is pre-warned is pre-armed is pre
Yeah,
something or other. I don't know.
yeah. We do. There are a couple, but it's typically now not in a younger generation. Anyone that is exhibiting that is like over 75, honestly, that we see that's like positive COVID. So there, that there's a lot of other comorbidities going on, and that's just one thing that they're constantly tracking. So it always has to show up,
Right, right, right.
right? Whether it
Well,
is
just in general,
or
just anything, like just your cold.
Mhm.
Just your pre-winter cold kind of thing.
Yeah. And I've been having that weird, like, things are tasting weird. My tongue feels like it's on fire, almost like I have neuropathy kind of thing. What's going on? Giblets, Danica. Um,
Well, Gemini is also the nervous system in general, I think,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you could have this nervous sensitivity stuff to cold, different
yeah.
flavor,
Oh,
different
I've been
taste.
taking COVID tests regularly. Like, is that because that was one thing that I noticed about COVID, was my tongue tingled in a way that was unfamiliar, and I was positive for COVID. So now if that happens, I'm like, I wonder if it's COVID again. And it's not, or it's just I'm fighting another strain, or something's going on, but things taste like metally. We could easily identify what's going on, like there's something weird going on. So that's been kind of weird. And also, I showed you, I put a tree branch decal in the house, because, and even my kids like, oh, that looks so cool, I love it. I said, well, I can't feel my feet, I have neuropathy, and I'm up here, so at least I feel like I'm living in a tree house,
Right,
maybe.
right.
It's a little bit closer to the ground, so I don't feel like so much of a floating head all the time in this space, because there are new bandwidths of energy, and there are new wavelengths of energy coming in, and that's why I want to sort of like finish up the new moon is that there are new wavelengths coming in. You can't deny it. We are in that, you know, space where space is offering us new pictures of space, and we're, you know, we're learning about a lot of how sound affects our well-being and that kind of thing. So definitely what you listen to, what you allow yourself to listen to affects you, right? Giblets. And this full moon will get you stop. I gotta say, I want to pause it, but I wanted like just, again, I can't remember what I wanted to. Just keep your mind open, okay, during this full moon, and allow it to tune into your instincts, right? And allow that to amplify something, but be careful maybe about what you're, you know, putting out there, but
That
trust
too.
what you've heard internally.
Yeah.
Righty.
Yep. Sounds good, honey.
All right. Let me pull an animal card, or at least have
Oh, that's right. Oh,
the
I have a
dog
card.
do it.
I have a deck too. You pick yours and I'll pick
Let
mine.
me get the dog, at least put him in my lap. I am so sorry. This is the jealous thing that we've been in therapy for. We've had so many issues with the jealous nature of this breed. Come here. Sit. Oh my God. And then, I'm sorry, you guys.
We're not sorry. Anytime we see Jibs, we're thrilled. Jibs, what you doing? What you giving mama such a hard time for? It's like I love my mom.
Every time I'm on the phone, you know this, and I used to throw treats like down the stairs and out, you
Yeah.
know, he can go on a treasure hunt and find stuff. And it's not, there's nothing, there's no place to go, except I can't really do that here. He jumps off and he starts yelling at me again. Do we have enough water? I'm just gonna pull a card and then we'll wrap this up. And I want to thank everybody for your patience and allowing me to do my work
Live
and
your life and do your work.
live my life and do my work, but definitely want to dedicate more time to the channel, and I will, and we will. And it's been such a whirlwind. I want to take you on a tour of the house and everything, but it's such a mess. I got Badger spirit. Be fearless and bold. Well, there's your duality, almost like the magician there.
Yeah.
4 is the number or the degree where the moon is going to be at in Gemini. 4 is the degree of the number of the degree that the sun will be in Sagittarius. And be fearless and bold, Badger.
I got experience, spirit path of the West, letting go, movement forward, and reflection.
Wow, ooh, that's a cool deck.
Right?
Yeah.
It's one of those decks that fell off and hit me in the head kind of thing.
Yes. And again, the black and white, remember, Gemini's got that dual nature to it. So
And it's interesting because you picked go get it and I picked reflection, and that's both parts of it. That's both parts of it. It's duality.
yep.
So it's a balance between those things. You know, you can't be all in all the time and you can't
Yeah,
reflect
yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. But it's a good time to be aware of it during this and set your intentions to strengthen the hive. Okay. All right,
Sounds
you guys,
good.
thank you so much. Thank you,
Bye,
Dr.
everyone.
And we will see
Oh,
you
my pleasure.